Hi guys, people have been asking me to do a studio test of the little ZV-E10, so I figured I would talk about clear image zoom while I am doing that test, because clear image zoom, if you don't know, is a Sony feature specifically that is kind of magic. They zoom in digitally, but in a way where you don't lose much resolution, at least to the human eye. To my eye, it looks great, but there are some drawbacks, and we're going to talk about it. Let's get into it. So first of all, the studio test is already happening. I'm shooting on my little Dougie right now with the Tamron 24mm f2.8, and I like a 24mm because that gives me roughly a 35mm focal range, which is what I like for my little studio. I mean, technically it's 36 because the 24 times the 1.5 crop factor. Anyway, it is what I like, around the 35mm. So I figured this Tamron is, it's a good price, and I have the 28-75 for my A7 III, which I love. So I thought, I'm going to pick this up. What could go wrong? A lot could go wrong. I hate this lens. In fact, I was thinking about making a whole video called I hate this lens with the HATE all capitalized, so people knew I was serious. You know, I'd be like, ooh, hate, all caps in 2021. What's this about? I've got to click on this video, right? Titillating title. The problem with it is, I don't love the image coming out of it. It's kind of got a weird tint to it, and I have to color correct it a fair bit. And then the autofocus, it is pretty slow, which, you're on a Sony camera, you want that snappy autofocus, but on this lens, the autofocus is a little slow and noisy. It clickety clacks the whole time, like, as you guys can't hear it right now because the microphone is too far away, but on the lens, it's going click and it's driving me nuts. It's so distracting. I don't like it. In fact, I'm going to see if the mic can pick up on the noise so you guys can hear for yourself. Hold on a second. So all that to say is the Sigma 16mm f1.4, which I love. This is my favorite lens for the APS-C Sony bodies. In fact, it's my favorite lens for the Micro Four Thirds as well. They make one for Micro Four Thirds, and I use it on my GH5 all the time. Love it so much. On the GH5C, it's a 35mm equivalent because of the crop factor. But on the Sony, it's only a 24mm. However, if you use clear image zoom can get you a 1.5 times crop on this bad boy, which makes this about a 35mm field of view. So let's back it up and talk about the different zooms. First, there's the optical zoom, which is, real zoom. If your lens can zoom, that is optical zoom, and that is the best one because you simply cannot have any loss of quality. It is the lens zooming itself. Then you have the clear image zoom. Now with the clear image zoom, according to Sony, they're doing some kind of voodoo magic where you can zoom in and you don't get much of a loss of quality whatsoever. And I gotta say, I don't see a ton of loss of quality myself when I'm looking at the footage. I'll let you guys be the judge. And then lastly, they have a digital zoom, and you don't want to use that because you will definitely notice a difference in resolution with the digital zoom. You might as well just do that in post if you want to zoom in on your footage. Your NLE will do a better job than the camera itself. So let's go to the Sony menu right now, and I'll show you where you can find it. Okay, so I'll show you where it is in the menu here. It is tab 2, page 6. There is the clear image zoom. So you click on this. Right now I have it set to clear image zoom, but it'll come like this. The default will be the optical zoom only. And if you have the power zoom, the kit lens, then you'll be able to control it from right here. Now you need a power zoom to be able to control it from the little lever here, the rocker. But if you don't have that and you have a zoom lens, nothing will happen. You'll have to do that manually. So you can set that up here for the clear image zoom to have it on the rocker. Now I probably wouldn't do that because I touch this rocker a lot, and then you might be getting clear image zoom when you don't want to. So what you could do is you can assign it to a custom key here, this custom Z key, so you can set your clear image zoom to be on a function key so that when you press that, you can get into clear image zoom and then zoom in from there. And then of course you can also do it on a remote control, and that might be useful too. You can control the speed of all these things, including the zoom lever. You can go from 1 slow to 8. I just leave it on the defaults Now you may see the other option here, and that is the digital zoom. Don't ever use that, because digital zoom is really gonna degrade your quality, whereas the clear image zoom, at least according to Sony, will degrade your quality not much at all, perhaps imperceptibly, huh? Well, we'll find out, won't we? Okay, enough of this lens. Let's switch to the 16mm from Sigma. Whoa, Nelly, look at the width on this thing. Wow. I gotta make sure you don't see too many of my apple juice cans lying around. I should have cleaned this place up, but I don't want you guys to see this much of my studio. Look at the width of this thing. I got clown hands. I don't want that. I want that 35mm. So without further ado, let's clear image zoom in this bad boy, shall we? Here we go. Oh yeah, this is a treat for the eyes. Coming in tight on old Marky, huh? You know, someone called me Shaggy from Scooby-Doo again in the comments. It's like every day. Come on, guys. So yeah, here we are. Ooh, look at that focal length. That is perfect. We're at 1.5 times. Do you see any loss in quality? You know what? I'm gonna put it up side by side with the 24mm from Tamron and see if you can see any difference in my pretty face. Because I tell you what, if not, what a hack this is, huh? Now, there are drawbacks. I said that, this is the third time I've said that. I'll explain them. Why don't I just explain them now? Let's just do that. See, the problem with the clear image zoom is that immediately you lose your eye autofocus and your face autofocus, and it just goes to a zone autofocus. And so whatever's in the middle of the screen is going to be in focus. Now, I have heard other reviewers say that when Sony goes to clear image zoom, it switches to contrast-based detect autofocus, and that's what my Panasonic cameras have, and that is no good, at least on Panasonic. Now on the Sony, the tests I have done, I did a test outside as well coming up, and I found that the autofocus worked fine as long as you stayed in the center of the frame. If you move off to the side of the frame, then it will focus on what's in the center. But then if you are in the center, see, and I come forward, now I've lost the little box around my eye and the little square around my face, but as long as I stay in focus, now I'm waving my hands around a lot in front of my face, and it still seems to be sticking pretty well. So one way to combat the autofocus, if you thought it wasn't going to be reliable, is to just switch it to manual focus, which is what I do with my Panasonic cameras. But I got to tell you, so far I don't see that contrast detect, you know, pulsing in the background of focus. So I don't know if it's switching from phase detect or not, and I couldn't find anything in the Sony manuals to tell me otherwise. They just said it switched to a middle zone focus area, but since it's still holding focus, I'm gonna leave it as is. So now I'll take you outside to see if it looks any different there, or if we lose autofocus when we're out in my backyard. Okay, clear image zoom. Okay, so now let's see what the autofocus is like. Is it losing me? Can you see me over here? Can you see me over here? No, so. Center. You have to be in the center of the frame. But then, works pretty well. It's pretty good. So since people like it when I put up bullet points on the side of the videos, I will recap the things that you need to know about clear image zoom. Okay, so if you're going to use it in photos, it's going to be JPEG only. It's not going to do the RAW. You're going to get 2 times magnification on the 24 megapixels. You're going to get 1.4 smart times on the 12 megapixels, and then 2.8 times with the clear image zoom. And then the 6 megapixels, you get 2 times smart zoom and 4 times clear image zoom. Now, when you use it in video, you only get clear image zoom, and you can get it up to 60 frames per second. It will not work in the 120 slow motion or the 100 slow motion for PAL. The metering mode gets locked to multi, so if you like doing spot metering, that's going to be a problem. I always use multi, so for me, that is not a problem. So you lose face and eye detect autofocus. I say face with a circle because a lot of times when people are saying you lose face detect, people think you're saying you lose phase detect autofocus, but I don't know if you lose phase detect autofocus. I do know you lose face detect autofocus and eye detect, and it goes to a zone autofocus. So obviously there's some limitations to this, and you don't have to use it, but having this option for clear image zoom, this is absolutely fantastic. I might not need a 24 mil that I thought I was going to. That saves me a lot of money because now I can use my 16. I always use the 16 when I'm outside, out and about, but then in the studio to be able to use that same 16 millimeter and just clear image zoom it, oh man. And this thing, oh, where is it? Oh my God, this is going back with a fiery vengeance. I'm chucking this back in the mail hard. Well, I'm not. I don't want to break it because I want to get my money back. Because this, and Tamron, I love you, but come on, you know, new 24, this one, no. So there you go, Doug in the studio. I hope you learned something about clear image zoom and whether that is something that you might want to use for yourself. I tell you what, from everything I'm watching, I'm probably going to use it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and all that jazz. We'll see you again soon. Okay, bye-bye. I hear the train a-coming. It's rolling round the bend.